Are you planning to relaunch your B2B company's website? Well, at Siegers Media, we're currently guiding 2 industrial clients through a full website relaunch, and we've seen firsthand just how many challenges and unanswered questions come up along the way. So in today's video, I will walk you through the exact checklist that we use to guide them, so you get a clear step-by-step view of how a professional B2B website relaunch should work. But be warned, there are a few critical steps that most companies completely overlook, especially when it comes to SEO. So let's dive in. And by the way, my name is Robert and I've been supporting B2B companies with professional search engine optimization since 2018. And if you would also like to deep dive more into that topic, we have a new white paper version published at robertsiegers.com/en/paper, link in the description. We have a white paper about B2B SEO in the age of AI, so definitely check that out as well. Okay, if I had to relaunch an industrial website today, I would check the following 8 steps in this order. So this is basically a step map from a bird's eye view of all the critical steps that we will now talk about. I've divided them into 3 categories. We have general steps, so basically fundamental things that have to be done. We have the SEO steps, and we have the design steps in green here. Step number 1 is to always do a backup, but not as most people think, just of the web space, but also of the so-called MySQL database. You can use FileZilla, so that tool, for example, for the web space. You can download that for Windows and Mac. And no, I'm not sponsored, but I really like that tool and I use it on my own projects. And for the so-called MySQL database, you have to log into your hostess account. Then you search for PHP MyAdmin. You navigate to that tab, and then you can export. Every hoster has this option if you log into the PHP area, and then you can directly download the SQL database right here. So it's downloading now. Okay, why is this step important and why isn't a web space backup enough? Well, the web space itself is kind of the hard files, but the SQL database is the code, how the files are put together. Imagine the web space like your muscles, your bones and other body parts, and the SQL database is your genetic code that puts it all in place. So if you just have the hard files and you forget about the SQL database, well, that's difficult and you can't put the website together if anything goes wrong during the relaunch process. So definitely save both things. Step number 2 is keyword research and mapping. And this is an SEO step, so a blue one, and our first step of the actual relaunch process. When you do a keyword research and mapping, you want to map out and research every aspect of your new website. That means the general keywords, but also all of the commercial keywords as well as informative keywords. You want to map out every little topic that is important for the offering of your company. When we have this example here, we have carbon in general, so it's a carbon manufacturing company. So this is probably the homepage. But then we also have products and service categories like CNC services for carbon parts. This will probably be a landing page and there is an existing keyword set. We have carbon machining. This topic is more informative is what we found out. When you Google that topic, you will find more informative articles, but not service pages or product offerings. So it's probably a blog article. Then we have carbon pipes, carbon tubes. This is a product category that lists all the different carbon pipes and tubes the company is offering. We have carbon sheets, again, another category page of all the carbon fiber sheet products of this company. We have fiberglass sheets, again, another product category. Carbon rods, another product category. And you see how it works. For every single product category, for every single informative topic, we set up and research a keyword set regarding that topic and try to bring that together. So this, for example, will probably a landing page, a category page that will list as an overview all the different carbon sheets. And on this page, you won't find any carbon tubes or any of the other things like carbon rods or foil. This is only for carbon sheets, and therefore this keyword set of this page also only targets carbon fiber sheets. So you structure basically all the different keyword sets into different, let's say, categories, and those different sets or categories will display your landing pages or your URLs of your new website. And based on that keyword research and mapping, we will get to the next step, which is setting up the URL structure, because as you now categorized all your important topics and offerings of your company, you now can create a useful URL structure out of that. And this is how we did it as an example for one of our clients. So we just try to put all the different keyword sets we just created in the mapping and research process down and try to create a realistic and useful site structure of the website. So for example, this is the home page. This is this keyword set. Then we have all the different category pages of products and services. This is what you find here. So all the product pages in green, the most important pages as well, because those are of course also the commercial pages. So this is product overview, for example, of all carbon fiber products. And then we have carbon fiber rods, we have carbon fiber sheets, we have carbon fiber tubes, and so on and so on. Then we have a category for industries or niches, for example, that are relevant for that company. We also work with those kind of pages, for example, carbon fiber products for the automotive industry, carbon fiber products for the machining industry, and so on. And then we also have other categories. This, for example, the guide and blog category. All the informative topics are down here. We structured, for example, this one, the carbon machining, where we find out that's an informative topic. We have Paltrosion, pre-prag, those are also informative articles that we structured down here. And then you find, of course, other important pages within the structure, for example, privacy policy, those kind of things. Step number 4 is divided into 2 different steps. We have a 4th step in the terms of SEO, and we have a 4th step in terms of web design. For SEO, we talk about the whole topic of content creation, because when you relaunch a website or you create a website, you always need the content prepared first. So this is basically the 4th step for the SEO team, meaning based on the different keyword sets, we now want to plan all of those sites that we will build. And we, for example, do that with so-called SEO briefings. This one is the SEO briefing for the topic of carbon fiber sheets. We put in here the URL, the topic, the search intent, just for carbon fiber sheets, just for this one product category page, how many words we do need, what the target group is, and so on. And then we structure the headlines. So the headline structure is always, let's say, simply put, like in a really good exam or in a book. You always have an H1, you have different H2s followed by H3s. Every H2 is basically a new chapter of this site. And you will also add, of course, a product overview here, because this, for example, is a category page. A product category page always needs a product overview. So between the content, between the text, you will now see that here we will need to add all the different carbon fiber sheet products. We also add the meta tags in here, which are also important. And then based on this structure, you will create the final SEO tag. So we bring all of the information together into one sheet, this one here, and based on this structure, we can now create and write the full content for this. And of course, also if we repeat that process for all the other pages. While the SEO author is writing the content for the pages, the web design team then, parallel to that, starts with the technical setup. And the technical setup means, first of all, the installation of the content management system on a web stage, usually on a staging server, so we don't work on the live website if we do a relaunch, of course, because the live website has to work in the meantime to serve clients and to get more leads, of course. And while setting up the CMS, we also need to check other technical things such as the cookie plugin, setting up forms, setting up things such as multi-language if we serve the new website in different languages. We also work out the navigational structure and the content structure. For example, things like page structure, the footer of the website, the main menu, the right sidebar, etc. And those kind of things can also be created out of the prepared site structure that I just showed you. So this is the fundament combined with the keyword mapping to also set up those kind of technical basics. Then we go on to step number 5, and this is a web design step. It's the conception of the ideas and the design. We also call that development period 1. And what happens in this first development period? Well, as I said, we need to develop the design and the functional and fundamental concept of the new website. We define design fundamentals like color selection, also the design language, like the typography, and then we start to construct wireframes. A wireframe is just a grid, a structure, the responsive design, so how the website will look on different devices. And we can check how that looks, for example, using Figma. We designed, for example, this website for a manufacturer of excavator buckets. And this is just a wireframe of the main page here, of the home page, how it will look like, and also the same version, of course, for mobile devices in a responsive design. The goal here is, first of all, to design all the different layouts for all the different pages. So usually one layout, for example, for the home page, one layout for an informative like guide page or blog page, one layout for a product page, one layout for a product category page, and so on. We don't design all the single pages in detail in a tool like Figma, but we want to create design templates and wireframes for the different categories of pages. And while doing that, we also want to make them responsive, so adaptive to different devices and screens like tablets, like desktop PCs, and like mobile phones, for example. Then we go on to the 6th step, and that's the website development. This is the actual core step of building the website. And it's not step number 1, it's step number 6, which builds up on all of the other steps and things that we did before. And this is the step we call development period number 2. During the website development, we construct the new website within the content management system. And then we create a responsive design within the CMS for the optimized functionality on various devices, as I said. So everything that we just designed in Figma right here, we want to bring all those things now to the content management system and design the website for the desktop screens, for the tablet screens, and for the mobile device screens. We also then create the main menu, the home page, and let's say a maximum of 100 subpages, depending on the project, of course, including all the blog pages, the legal notices, the privacy policy, and so on. We also set up the required fonts, so everything that is related to the corporate identity of the company is set up right now. Also the provided page content that is hopefully done at that point, written by the SEO team or the author, so we can start to embed the text content as well. We also place conversion elements on the page. A conversion element is, for example, a call to action or a personal contact person, like this, for example. So people who will visit the website in the future will directly guide it to the right contact person and can send like an inquiry here and become a lead. So ask for the service or the product of the company. We want to make that super easy. We also want to integrate strategically placed call to action buttons to increase the sales efficiency and encourage users to take the desired action, as I said. An example for that is, for example, the call to action up here. So we design the website so that the call to action is directly at the top of the page, and users of this modernized website don't need to scroll at all, but directly find their way to the desired offering. So why they're here. So we serve the direct reason why they're visiting the website. Then we have step number 7, and that's again a critical one, especially when it comes to SEO. This is basically the most important step if you do a website relaunch. If you forget this 7th step, this will ruin your company's revenue. And I've seen cases myself where this happened, where during a relaunch, people forgot to redirect the old pages. That means all the SEO rankings that you had with your old website are gone then if you don't redirect the pages. And that means you lose all the traffic, all the website visitors, all the potential leads, and therefore, in some cases, millions and millions of dollars of revenue. So redirect is basically taking the old URL and redirecting it within the CMS to a new URL, so that if Google still lists your old URLs in their search index, the user, if they click on it, will instantly direct it to the new page that is probably not indexed yet within the search index of Google and other search engines. And step number 7 for the website team is the technical control step. We also call that development period number 3. And during that step, we want to implement all the technical adjustments and settings. For example, create 404 pages, like error pages if there is no page found, embed as needed, contact forms, enter meta titles and meta descriptions as well from the SEO briefing. We want to fix any remaining bugs and check the whole website for its technical usage. We want to implement technical measures, for example, security and safety things on the website as well, installation of the SSL certificates and linking it to the final domain, but also checking things such as the DSGVO, so all the heuristic and legal things required in Europe, for example, so setting up cookie plugins and regarding the data tracking, but also linked to that, setting up SEO tracking tools like Google Search Console, Google Analytics, or Google Tag Manager to measure all the data on the website. And then we are ready and we get to the final 8th step, which is the relaunch. In the relaunch process, we of course then go live with the new website on the final domain. We also do a final review and coordination of the finished page. We connect the domain. So usually we build the page on a staging server and then we link the whole page to the new domain, replace the old website with the new one and do a final technical check, then make final changes based on that. For example, checking text, checking images and the layout. And then when everything is fine, everything is correct, we go live with the site and we do the official handover with our client. And that's it, the full website relaunch process for industrial companies. And if you're also currently doing a website relaunch and you want some support or consultation on that, you can of course book a free consultation call at robertsiegers.com. We also help you analyzing your SEO potential and set up a full strategy for your own website relaunch. If that's interesting for you, definitely check out robertsiegers.com for a free SEO potential analysis. Also subscribe to the YouTube channel and I see and speak to you in the next video. Have a great day.